Further ado, I would like to introduce Ms. Cindy Marten, Superintendent of San Diego Unified.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'd like to, first of all, say thank you to our Police Chief, Dave Nisleit, and our San Diego District Attorney, Stephan, and our School Police Chief, Marquez, for being with me here this morning. This close partnership that you see here is exactly what we're able to do to work together so that we can work on our issues and strengthen our commitments to keeping all of our schools and our students safe, and that partnership is essential to what we're doing. It's important that everybody knows our firm belief that students should never be victims of violence and should never have to sacrifice their learning due to fear or anxiety that's brought on by threats. Today we're here this morning to make it crystal clear for our students, for our families, and for our entire community how we will handle threats against schools going forward. We all know that since Parkland, our district has been hit hard with an increased number of threats, and we want to address that. This increased number of threats has resulted in a tremendous cost to the district, a cost in terms of lost money, lost staff time, and most importantly, lost instructional time. As of the beginning of this week, we have had more than 49 threats investigated by our very own school police. For our students, this has meant lost instructional time. Attendance at one school dropped 60% in one day because of an online threat. This resulted in more than 125 hours of overtime for our officers to follow up, investigate, and keep our schools safe. It's important that you know, going forward, we will adopt a three-pronged approach to school threats that we're experiencing. First of all, students who make false threats will be identified and they will be held accountable. This is no joking matter. Our school police have identified every student behind every one of the threats these past few weeks. Secondly, we will protect students against real threats. And I will allow Chief Marquez to talk in more detail about some of the ways that we keep our students safe. And finally, we want to continue hearing about all threats. If you see something, say something. Say something to help us remain and keep the order of the day. With that being said, I would like to introduce our School Police Chief, Mike Marquez, who plays a crucial role in keeping our students safe each and every day, and he can share more information about our district's comprehensive school safety plans. Chief Marquez.
Thank you. Good morning. I would like to echo Superintendent Marten's comments, thanking Chief Nisleit and District Attorney Stephan for their strong partnerships in keeping our schools safe. The safety of our children is what's most on the minds of our parents, staff, and community. Since the tragedy in Parkland, we have seen our youth take an active role in creating safer schools, including here at San Diego Unified. In fact, we're currently working with some media programs at the high school to create some public service announcements. In the 5 years since the 2012 Sandy Hook tragedy, our district has invested more than $47 million in facilities bonds and maintenance funding on physical safety improvements. Last week, our Board of Education approved an additional $15 million to expedite additional physical safety needs for the 2018-2019 school year. This includes improved perimeter fencing, locks and gates, notification systems, public address systems, visitor access control, and adding to our current number of over 1,300 security cameras in our district. For the past 2 years, school police and the San Diego Police Department have been working closely on improved communications. I'm excited to announce that this summer, school police will transition to the same computer dispatching system currently used by the San Diego Police Department, allowing for instant exchange of information and live video feeds, among other improvements. All of our schools have comprehensive school safety plans, and they are up to date as mandated by state law. These plans also include a site emergency response plan, which is unique and specific to each individual school site, including evacuation routes, safety teams, and emergency procedures for any potential emergency our schools may face. Let me remind everyone that school safety is a collaborative effort. Far too often, these tragedies fade into our memories, and we fall victim to complacency. We must remain vigilant at all times. This takes the active involvement of our students, parents, staff, and community members. It has also become, as was highlighted by our superintendent, it has also become essential for parents to speak with their children about safety-related issues. This includes the simple act of children making inappropriate and concerning comments about violence, weapons, or unintentional threats. For example, we recently had 2 children speaking about a violent video game in one of our high schools. Other students overheard this and did the right thing by reporting it to an adult, not knowing the full context of the conversation. This prompted a police response and a significant disruption to the educational environment. These consequences are taken very seriously and could result, all these comments are taken very seriously and could result in serious consequences. And as the superintendent said, we're very fortunate in our district to have our own school police department. And we absolutely take the safety of our students very seriously, and it's a top priority for us. And we will vet every single threat or report of a threat that comes into our school district. And so with that, I'd like to turn it over back to Cindy Marten.
Thank you, Chief Marquez. That's our San Diego Unified School District Chief of Police. And now I'm happy and proud to introduce our San Diego City Chief of Police, Dave Nisleit. Thank you.
Good morning. I want to thank Superintendent Cindy Marten, Chief Mike Marquez from City School Police, and District Attorney Stephan for including me in this. I want you to understand, and I think it's very important to stress, the collaboration between not only city schools, but school police and the district attorney, and how we investigate all of these threats. These threats are going to be taken very serious, not only between the school police department and our police department. We work very closely vetting every single threat. Even if it's deemed minimal, we will investigate it fully. So I want to make that very, very strong. From my police department, the San Diego Police Department, we take all threats extremely serious. My mission to our troops is to investigate these fully, and if someone needs to be arrested, we will make that arrest. And I will talk about that in a little bit, a couple more minutes. I want to talk about the Crime Stoppers piece of students speaking out. That is something that we are fully involved in. Since January 1, we've received about 50 leads from students speaking out. That's important. I want those leads to keep coming. It's all of us here. It's our jobs to keep students safe in their schools. I want students to focus on learning and not on their well-being. I also want to talk about suspicious activity reports. We're seeing a spike in this, and you've heard this as a common theme. Last year, the whole year, we received 17 suspicious activity reports. This year, through March 10th, we're already at 23. 15 of those were regarding school threats. Those led to 5 physical custody arrests of juvenile students making threats against their classmates or about school shootings. My mission my statement to the students and their parents is we're going to take these very, very serious. I asked the parents to have conversations with their kids about these threats and about if they hear something, they need to speak out, they need to say something. And we'll talk a little bit later about all the avenues that they have about reaching out to us. There's tip lines, there's an app on their smartphones, and there's a website, Students Speaking Out. It's very important that we get these threats very quickly, and then we will fully investigate those. I want to thank you for including the San Diego Police Department as part of this, and just want to talk about, again, the collaboration of all of us with our main goal of keeping students safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Nisleit. Now I'd like to introduce our very own Summer Stephan, our district attorney.
Thank you, Superintendent Marten, for bringing this important time together to share the information about what we're doing in San Diego County with regard to this rash of school threats. And thank you to Chief Nisleit and Chief Marquez. It really is about this blood, sweat, and tears dedication by the San Diego DA's office, by the schools, and by police that keep our communities safe. But this responsibility is really everyone's responsibility. So I want to give you a perspective. Since 2014, we formed a dedicated group of experts to deal with school threats in San Diego County. And we did that early. We didn't wait to see some big event happen like what happened in Florida. And with that dedicated group, the DA's office has an expert who looks at all of the viable school threats and assesses at what level they should be handled. This requires collaboration with the police departments, with all the school districts, including San Diego Unified. It's a huge undertaking. With that comes the concept of threat assessment, of assessing the threat to make sure that what level that threat should be handled. And that's what we've been doing since 2014. Since 2014 and up to February 14 of this year, 2018, we looked at 45 cases. But what we've seen since February 14 is already 26 cases that the district attorney's office has reviewed and has engaged in. So you can see that this really has wreaked havoc on our school communities all across San Diego County. This has caused mothers and fathers to wonder if they can send their kids to school that day. That's an unacceptable situation. Our schools need to be safe havens, and we intend, as a team, law enforcement and schools and community, to make sure that they stay safe havens for our kids to go to school. So what we've done is, with regard to each situation, we review it for criminal conduct. Very important to understand that just the words of making a threat of harm to a school, if that threat reasonably can make someone afraid, that is a felony crime of making criminal threats. It does not matter if the minor does not intend to carry out that threat. If they didn't make preparations to carry out that threat, it is still a felony crime. And the reason it is because of everything we're seeing in terms of the terror this is producing in our community. That has to stop. We are asking every parent and every community member to have a conversation, a very serious conversation with their kids about this concept that just the words themselves can be a felony crime. And since February 14,